Just before the fourth quarter there, it looked like you kind of give a message to the team. What exactly did you say?
I think the main message that we should have started like this from the jump, but just letting the team know we were still in it. We still had an entire quarter to play. We knew we were behind. We knew we needed to fight, but we should have started with that fight in the beginning.
And then there in the first quarter, you guys were up 10-3 and they came back. You guys got a timeout. Last game, Sydney had said it really showed like maturity and you guys didn't panic when the other team pulled back. I guess what was the difference today in that?
I think the difference today is our aggression. I think we were a little bit passive at times, especially in the first half, which it should never be the case, but I do think we didn't see a few shots go in, so we kind of drew back in terms of being aggressive, continuing to shoot. So I think that was the main thing for today.
Turnovers have been an issue all season. What is it too late in the year to try to fix that, or what are you trying to do for the last few games?
I don't think it's ever too late to fix the turnover issue. We knew they had pressed, we knew they were a great pressure team, and I think a lot of the turnovers we had were careless mistakes, and a lot of them were caused by nobody but ourselves.
I felt like a lot of times there when you guys started making a little bit of run, hit a couple in a row, they always had a response. I guess what was it that they were doing offensively, or what were you guys not doing defensively that caused that?
I think the hardest part to accept about this loss today is that they didn't do anything special. I think a lot of things were on us, whether it was simple fundamental plays like one-on-one defense or being in help or strong side kicks and little things like that. And I think also we did terrible today with our transition defense.
Why do you think that is?
We had a lack of urgency and a lack of communication.
You guys have lost 3 in a row here now in this building. I guess what is it about playing here that's so hard to win?
I don't know if it's necessarily the atmosphere, but I do know about Michigan State. I even told the girls before we started, they always play with that hungry. They're always hungry and they're always greedy and always playing like they're desperate and they play hard. They play tough.
You, Sydney, and Strickland's last game in assembly on Thursday. How do you guys kind of try to rebound from the loss and like make sure you go out with a win?
Yeah, just rebounding with the loss and like you said, understanding and realizing this is our last go around in Assembly Hall. So not to add any pressure to us, but to understand it's Assembly, we protect our house and we just came off of a loss, so we should play pissed off.
Yes, I know it's disappointing, but just how much more mad are you losing this after beating Ohio State?
I think I'm not too terribly mad. I'm a little bit frustrated, just like I said, with the turnovers. A lot of them were our fault, simply being careless. I know I had a lot of critical turnovers in critical moments. So just taking that ownership and responsibility to realize, yes, that is hard, but we have 24 hours to get over it and focus on the next game ahead.
It's good. Well, disappointed. Felt like our spirit, our energy level was not where it needed to be. As I said to the kids, like we could bottle up some of that we get in the hall and bring it on the road with us. Really felt like we had opportunities today to, we got off to a decent start, but too many turnovers, too many offensive rebounds that we gave up at critical times. I know the rebounds were even, but the 11-0 boards, those offensive rebounds came at very critical times. So, we made a late run there and pulled within 5 and, again, just disappointed. I just felt like our spirit wasn't where it needed to be today.
Why do you think it wasn't there?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. That's a really good question. Especially when you come off such a good win against Ohio State and you feel like you got some momentum and the kids have, they felt, really good about their performance and, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. I wish I did.
Was that evident before today or was that just something
No, I thought it was on the floor. I mean, every time out, I felt like our staff was, trying to will them to like compete. Now, I think sometimes it's human nature when things don't go your way, that you can kind of get inside yourself. And that's when it's so important for you to get outside yourself. And whether you're pouring into your teammate just to, that usually makes not just your teammate feel better, but yourself feel better. And so I just felt like we started to get a little bit of the fight when, Sid hits a three, Shay hits a three, it's a 5-point game, and all of a sudden now it's like, well, you don't wait for those moments, right? When the things aren't going well, you have to figure out, how to turn the tide and not wait for something like that individually and then together.
Feels like throughout the year, you've been asked so many times, how do you fix it? How do you fix it? When you can't fix it like so far, but what do you do to try to turn it around if you can?
Yeah, I mean, you just keep coaching and you keep hoping that, whether it's the timeouts, whether it's the half times, that, some of what you continue to say, going over the scouting report, going over the intangible things it's gonna require, you hope that it sinks in, and you hope that it becomes, it touches, their souls and their insides, that they wanna come out and they wanna perform better. I don't think strategically there was anything that we would have done, different as far as that. I mean, we missed some early shots. I think it created some doubt in our minds. And you just can't do that. These guys, Sid Parishes and the Shea Sheskys and Yarden, they've gotten 1,000 reps of shooting that ball, right? And you just kind of remind them, like, keep shooting, right? Keep shooting, have the confidence. And so that's how we kind of go about it.
Turnovers have been an issue all season.
Right.
I guess with just a few games left, what do you try to say or do to make sure the players understand the importance of team?
I mean, I don't know how else to, we've showed them, we've told them, we've showed them more film. I mean, they've gotten plenty of film and plenty of, conversations, whether it's together, whether it's with whether it's their guard coach or post coach, collectively, all of it, they've heard it, it's like, at this point, it's like a recorder. You can just put it, and hit it. They've heard it so much. And so, they know the importance. I just, like I said, I'm not sure sometimes why, that knowing the importance of coming in here and not turning it over, just like the other night, was going to be so important to the win. So, trust me, the questions that you guys ask, if I had the answers for all of it, man, I'd try to fix it, right? I really would. Because I want them to have the success, because they're great kids and they work hard. And, but some things I'm still a little bit perplexed by.
When it doesn't sink in and get to them, how frustrating is that for you?
Yeah, it's frustrating because you realize that, the possessions matter, when we're turning it over, that means we're not getting a look at the rim. And, a lot of times when you're either behind or you've fallen behind, it's because that other team has gotten more shot attempts. It's, as I said before, it's easy math, and I'm not a great at math, but I understand when you turn the ball over and you don't get shots and you give it to the other team, there's a good likelihood that they're going to probably get more shots than you. Whether they go in or not, is another story, but nonetheless, they get more shots than you, and teams that get more shots than you have a better chance of winning.
When you kind of show your frustration with the refs, how much of that is actually being frustrated with them, or more so just being frustrated with your team?
Oh no, I was frustrated with the officials. Yeah. Thought there was a lot of, it was very physical out there today. I just think that, again, they're doing the best they can, but there are things that, the only thing that I ask for is the consistency piece. I just want to see it called consistently. And when it's not called consistently, that's when I usually, have an issue. And I thought the game was very physical. And I thought there was times where Chloe, our ball handlers, were bodied. A push is a push, a body's a body, call it. I thought there at the end, there was a couple moments where it looked like we got bodied and we didn't get the benefit of a call. And so, that usually irritates me.
I can't tell if Sam has a question or not. Yeah, it looks like Sam has a question on Zoom. So go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. Hey, coach. So what would you say is the biggest difference that you see in your team when they play inside Assembly Hall or when they go on the road like today in East Lansing?
Can you start over? Sorry, I missed the first part of that question.
Yeah. What is the biggest difference in your team that you see when they play inside Assembly Hall versus an away game like East Lansing or in any other Big Ten environment?
I thought today we like I said, I didn't think we came out with the same kind of juice, the same kind of energy, the same kind of spirit. And, a lot of that is because you got 12,000 fans usually that are in there yelling for, us. Today was a little bit different, with, not a lot of fans being here for Indiana, some, but not a lot. And so the majority of the noise was made by Michigan State fans, but look, that can never be an issue, that can never be an excuse, right? The good teams, I always say, the good teams win at home, great teams win on the road. And it's like, I'd love to be able to bottle it up for these guys and bring it with us, but that's not how it works. And so, been doing it a long time. I think you have to have the same energy, on the road as you do at home. There's no such thing as, practice standards, game standards, it's all the same. You practice the way you play, you also bring the same spirit you play with at home as the same spirit you play with on the road. And you probably have to play with a little bit more extra juice on the road, because we don't have, the fans, that travel like the guys do. And so we have to create a lot of that on our own. So, that's on us to figure it out. That's on us to bring it. It's on us to manifest it. Whatever we have to do, we got to do better.
You guys got anything else?
Yeah, one more. The past 2 years, you guys have won a lot on the road, and this year it's not the case. And you mentioned the great team versus the good team. You feel like this year you guys are just kind of like a good team?
At times we've shown greatness. I thought the other night we looked like a really, really, really good team, a great team against Ohio State. I think there's been moments where we've been just good enough, right? Again, in some of it, let's give credit to where credit's due. I mean, the games that we've lost on the road, whether it's at Minnesota, whether it's at Michigan, I mean, those teams are really good. And so, I don't think you can, it would be silly of you guys to not look at the teams that we've lost to it's just like us, when people come and play in the hall, it's a really hard place to win, right?
Yeah.
Well, some of these other schools have created that same kind of environment, Michigan State today. But don't take it for granted that those teams aren't really good. Like Michigan State's a top 25 team right now. Minnesota has been, right? Michigan has been. And so the teams that we've lost to on the road are really, really freaking good, right? And, Oregon spent some time in the top 25. I think about our road losses, but, does that make us just an average or a good team? No, this is a really good league. And I think we got to keep that in perspective, when we're thinking about, okay, well, what the resume or what, this year's looked like for us. Well, but we don't forget too, we've been a much different team the last 4 years too.
Yeah.
When you have an All-American post player, right, that you're trying to replace and some new pieces, but then, and Sarah Sky, I always have to mention her being such a lethal shooter for us. So things have changed, our team's changed. But so is the league, and it's gotten better, and it's just part of it.